today from something you forgot along the way. And today's story is number 22. It's like the sound of a pulley, the wisdom of Socrates. The largest landowner in ancient Greece called on Socrates one day and bragged about his extensive holdings. Socrates rolled out a map of the world and indicated Greece. "Where exactly is your land?" he asked. "No matter how much land I had, it wouldn't show up here," said said the other man, dumbfounded. "If your land doesn't show on the map, you haven't got much to brag about," said Socrates with a genial smile. "I'm constantly working the universe in my mind." Socrates is credited with saying, "My advice to you is to get married. If you find a good wife, you'll be happy. If not, you'll become a philosopher." There are many well-known anecdotes about his shrewish wife, Xantippe. Once hearing her complain all day long about her husband's failure to earn a decent living, a friend of Socrates commented that such nagging was too much to bear. Socrates rejoined, "I'm used to it. It's like hearing the unceasing sound of a pulley." Another time, annoyed that her husband paid no attention to her litany of complaints, Xantippe emptied a chamber pot on his head, prompting him to remark, "After the thunder, there generally comes rain." Words like this fend off arguments. The thought of being saddled with a shrewish wife is aggravating. Think of it as learning to ride a bucking horse, however, and it becomes a challenge. A man who can handle the most difficult horse of all need fear no one. Socrates impressed this lesson on his disciples using his own family life as illustration. This is an important lesson in the art of living. Yeah, very good. This is actually one of my favorite stories in this book. It's from 2000 or so years ago, so it's from the perspective of Socrates. It's not only a man who can handle the most difficult horse of all need fear no one. A woman who can handle the most difficult horse of all need fear no one. It's true for everyone, obviously. And yeah, I think we all have experience of having to deal with a very difficult person, especially on a daily basis. I think that's one of the examples of living hell on this earth. Every day you wake up, the thought of dealing with this person who is not reasonable, you cannot use logic to talk with them, and they interpret everything to their own benefit and advantage. So it can be very painful for us. But at the same time, if we learn about the law of cause and effect more deeply by listening to the Dharma again and again and again, we come to realize that every person is only harvesting the fruits of the seeds they have been planting. So they cannot produce any different types of fruits. If they have been planting cucumber seeds all along, all they harvest are cucumbers. That's it. So it's not so much that something is wrong with them. Our own perspective is off. It's not in alignment with the law of cause and effect. We have the wrong view, and wrong view creates suffering. All we have to do is learn what is the right view. So in this case, if we take the perspective of the wife, Xantippe, maybe they had children too. So usually the mother takes care of the family affairs and raising children, or at least in the past, it was like that. So the mother had to make sure there's enough money to buy the food or pay for the rent, things like that. And for Xantabi, her husband, being a philosopher who is always educating other people, not necessarily gaining money, because most people, even if they're receiving the education, they don't see the value of it. They don't feel reciprocating. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to understand when we give to others, we are bestowing upon ourselves. Giving is more joyful than receiving. Yeah, it took me many years to understand that. Because when we receive something, it feels good. When we give, there is some kind of pain associated with it too. But why do they say giving actually makes us more joyful than receiving? So, yeah. So, in this way, if we understand the dynamics of the family and the cause, condition, and effects behind every scene, then, like Socrates says, just it's like hearing the unceasing sound of a pulley. Sometimes the door creaks, and unless you add some oil to it, it's gonna be like that. It's foolish of me to keep complaining that the door is creaking without taking any action to fix it. So if I don't have the means to fix it yet, I just have to change my own perspective, like the sound of the pulley, or, hear it in a different way until you're able to take action. And yeah, even even getting water dropped on your head. So for Socrates, he was like, oh, after the thunder, like all the nagging and all the noise, there generally comes rain. So words like this fend off arguments. And as we listen to the Dharma more and more, we look at these sufferings of life as different challenges that are helping me become stronger, wiser. So instead of being bitter about it, we become grateful, because then there is nothing we cannot do. There is no pain in this world we cannot overcome. And as we all know, there is pain of illness, aging, and death. Yeah, so that's what enlightenment is all about. That's how we go forward together. So I'm very happy that we are here together practicing. Today is Monday, so we're going to have the Right View Lab at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and have a great start of your week, everyone. Goodbye.